Hi, my name is Brad Emery, and I'm here to offer a little bit more explanation for my artifact for component 4.3c on the standard for learning and instruction. So this standard says that I've interpreted data from formative and summative assessments to use in educational planning. And I was excited to look at this one because I felt like this is one that I actually had prior experience in and could just consider from a new lens, the lens of an administrator, and really take a look at what does this look like in my daily teaching practice, and what would this look like from an administrator's perspective. The reason that I say I have a lot of experience with this and was excited about this is because we use a standards-based grade card model, and that's the same model that I used at my previous school. And when I first came to St. John and started teaching here, we did not use a standards-based grade card, but we've since transitioned into one. And I personally am a big fan of the standards-based grade card because it addresses this very issue of how do we use formative and summative assessment data to inform our instruction on a day-to-day basis. When we look at a standards-based grade card model, what we're doing is instead of doing percentages and letter grades, we're looking at how students met the standard, where are they at on our standards, and how can we continue to push them to achieve more and make sure that they fully understand the standards to which we're teaching. And the nice part is, by the nature of creating a grade card that is framed by and focused on these standards, it allows us, forces us to take data points, both formatively and summatively, to then tweak our instruction to make sure students are meeting these goals that we want them to meet. So instead of just looking for, did the students get an A on the test, or did they get mostly A's and B's, or only a few C's? Instead, I'm looking at, do the students know how to multiply all their single-digit multiplication? Do they understand the concepts of multiplication as one group of another group, or 4 times 5 is 4 groups of 5, but it's also multiplicative. It could be 4 sets of 5 items, and with a standards-based grade card, that's always at the front of my mind instead of being at the back where I'm focused on percentages and grades, letter grades rather. Now I can think, are the students meeting this standard? Are they able to define and tell me about what multiplication is, and do they really understand it in such a way that they can put it into practice? So from an educator's perspective, standards-based grade cards are a fantastic way to have both summative and formative assessments in a school. When I considered this from more of an administrator's lens, I did start to see where this would be a challenging perspective, or a challenging change in most schools. And I think it's worthwhile. I think it's something that we should be doing, but I also can see, as I look around and consider my colleagues and their hesitancy to let go of percentages, to let go of letter grades, it's just something that we've done for a long time, and change is hard. So from an administrative perspective, it made me reflect and consider, how would I approach this with a group of teachers, whether that was to shift into a standards-based mindset, or to help teachers and educators come along on that journey to make sure we're using these assessments and data in a meaningful way. And so the big thing, I believe, would be to show teachers the value of this. So everything that I was talking about here just a couple of minutes ago, teachers need to buy into that idea that, yes, this is a little bit more work in some ways, but it's so much better for your students because it allows us to drop the old ideas of, well, every paper needs to have a grade, or we need to take tests and weight those tests and do all these different things. And instead, we can just say, no, we don't need to do all that. What we need to focus on is, do the students know their content? Are we teaching and are we instructing in such a way that the students are learning what they need to learn? And I think just the clear focus that these standards-based grade cards offer would really be my driving force as an administrator when I was approaching teachers about this, and wanting to work alongside them to make sure that their instruction is being informed by not just the standards, but how the students are reaching towards and moving towards those standards. And that's where this formative and summative assessments come in. Of course, formative being throughout your lessons, throughout your unit, you're informally or formally assessing where are we at, are we moving towards that end goal, and then the summative assessment being that final point where we have students show and demonstrate their ability on the skill. Are they able to show and demonstrate that they have learned enough to comprehend and put into practice these standards? And so ultimately, I really love standards-based grade cards. I love them as an educator, and I truly believe that as an administrator in the future that it's something that I will continue to hold dear and push for, because I truly believe that it's best practice and provides a great means by which educators can focus in and make sure that their instruction lines up with where their students need it.